I have a question. So when you put in range on Flash Research, that tracks the intraday parabolics too, right?
Uh, because the minimum gap, I think
Mhm.
so, it may have missed some of it. And also,
Okay.
so today is the Tuesday, so we'll go, and we'll see how much this comes out to. 43 gas, that's a lot. How do we make this less? Honestly, yeah, we could take a look. So this is, what is the average? So a lot of it is relatively bullish.
Well, these are just intraday parabolics then, because HBIO, that's what it was. Okay.
So I'm surprised by that because I thought maybe it lacked range. We probably need to do another filter because what I was finding in my personal trading, I was kind of watching,
Hmm.
is I would see a lot of like stop hunts and then it would fade stop hunted. But I think because of range, we're seeing this. So this, I'm just taking a mental note that it faded at 12. This one,
Yeah, this
mental
one's really good.
PLRZ faded at 1040.
But the gap up wasn't, there's no real gap up, but it's just the 5% move.
Alright, this is super tough. Failed breakout.
There was no volume on this. Yeah, I was short this one after that failed breakout, and then I stopped out break even on my personal account.
So this, I'm making a mental note. This is 3 p.m., right? So yeah, this is the
Yeah.
good old
Yep.
playbook that they used to have. Stop at 3 p.m. or 2 p.m. and then fade.
These are difficult.
That's difficult as heck. ESP root. That's stop hunt. Screwed after EGH. This is China, right?
Yeah, yes it is.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah, recent reverse split, I think, IMCC.
Okay, so it shows gap values in there. Okay, we'll just SGN.
Yeah, I got stop hunted on that
Yeah, this is
because it was a really big, like it went from 4 to 3 in like one candle. So there's no way I could get back in. I should have because it was below VWAP, but I guess I'm not. Yeah, that was a good one actually, even after the stop hunt.
So there's one variable when I was doing backtesting. If it's a stop hunt, when should you enter? As crazy and dumb as it sounds, the further the wick, the further the candle is, the further the close is, the higher the odds of it working. And that makes a lot of sense. From a trader point of view, it doesn't make sense. From a logical, it makes sense because that means this was a real
A real
intent
sell.
with a real sell, but somebody that really had a lot of shares.
Yeah.
Tinfoil hat on. If somebody did this because they needed to push it further, that they needed to get rid of it because they had a lot of shares or they needed to short a lot, then you know it's a real move. So whenever something like this happens, stop hunts, like closing. So this is the stop hunt, right? The stop is 384. If it closes at 370, 380 versus closing at 315, it's better to enter this and just kind of risk this or the high.
Yeah, because they didn't reclaim it. They didn't reclaim that candle, so chances are it's not going back there.
No, I think the main point that I was trying to make is like how do you differentiate between an A and an A plus plus? So
Okay.
if it rejects,
Mhm.
and let's say we're watching like a 3-minute candle, and the close of this candle is at, so this is the stop 3, it goes to like whatever 4, and it closes at 390. That's scenario 1. The other scenario is that it closes at 320, which wasn't an A, which one is an A plus plus. The 320 vast majority of time will be an A plus plus, even though it will feel like a missed trade.
So if you were to, let's say you entered after the rejection, you're kind of sitting around 320. Let's say I'm short now at this point. How would you manage risk on that? Would you just risk the higher of that previous candle, like a 380 type thing, or would you go all the way to?
That's a very good question. I don't have a good answer for this one because I actually expected this to be I expected this to be a good setup. So what I did is I actually shorted 2 entries. One of them was this, was 386.
That's sick. No way. It was barely there. Like it barely touched that price. You had orders sitting there, or how'd you get that?
No. I entered bad. My entry was bad.
Oh, okay.
My entry was somewhere in here.
Oh.
But one of them I risked 386. The other one I risked that because I wasn't sure. Just like exactly you're not sure, I wasn't sure. I am
Fair.
trying to see if I can. No, I don't have it. But Yeah, so that's another good mental note that you need to have. So the stop hunts, I think this is not like this, but there's other ones that just stop on midday and then it comes washes
I
out.
think holding short into after hours is becoming a interesting situation too, because I remember Adnan would always be doing that, and I would look at his recaps, and I'm like, yo, this is actually nice. Like I can see these things fading, and now I'm seeing the opposite happen where it'll kind of have like a blow off move in after hours, and it makes for a good short opportunity now. It's almost like something people look for.
So this SBAT 11 o'clock.
Yeah, this WETO, can't believe it reclaimed every.
I am in enough difficult.
Yeah, man, these stocks are not easy these days. Okay, we need to do this, and let me do another one because I don't feel fully comfortable with that. So let's do. So it mixed it up.
Sunday, Gapper, Sudarita.
So for this, we're gonna have a gap value of, let's say 60%. Range, we don't really want. Maybe pre-market volume of, oh, it's right here. Pre-market volume, let's say 6. So this is
500 million. Sorry, what was that? 500,000, right?
500,000 here. So this would be really 26. I'll take a look at this.
So there's 14 gappers. Mini gappers, yeah. This is what I expect the. Let me look at day 2. Oh, day 2 is nicer. Doesn't fade often. Fades 54% of the times, but day 1, this is very difficult. And this push a lot of times, what I was recollecting in my place, this stop hunts you. So even though this is the average, it goes up, takes out a stop, and then
Okay, so I want to go through this.
I hear you. Yeah. Testing.
Hey, sorry, man. Sorry, you got cut off. You said something about on the push, and that's when you got cut off.
Yeah, I was saying what I've noticed is that this push here, whether camera's on now. This push here, I'm gonna double check. I think this is the average price action, but then it's stop hunting and then it's washing, going sideways. So I'm just confirming that, see how we can capitalize on it. So this is just crazy. STRN buyout or something. So this is the push. It's doing stuff like this. It's just very frustrating. ZO. I think a lot of people took a loss. Yeah. So this is a lot of this is happening recent, and I think in my experience this is summer's market. So I used to have a playbook that I would watch out for these stop hunts. So I think whenever stock lacks range, they push it higher and lower. So this year it stops them out and then it goes lower. And then it goes, so would that happen once? Now it happened twice. So take 230 as a stop, pushes to 240, and then it washes out, back south. Nasty stuff.
A rare
A rare what?
a rare good fader, just instant.
Yeah, to enter quick. This is the other effing thing. Okay, so okay, so I wasn't going crazy. Okay, so we have to adapt. I have to adapt to this. Stop hunt, wash. So we've noticed it. It happened 3 times in this 1 week.
Are you talking gap?
I think so, yeah. So do you remember the variables for this? It's like 60% gap and then 2 million volume.
500,000 pre-market.
Yeah, and 60% gap.
Range.
I didn't put anything for range because I didn't want to. I wanted to see everything. Because if you put range, then you won't see the stop hunts. So this year is okay. Oh, what the heck? 1 cent. That shouldn't be there.
Yeah, same thing here. They dump it, get everybody short. Quickly, by the end of it all, everyone's.
So I guess this. I wonder if this would be a stop hunt. This would be a stop hunt. Good point. I didn't see that. Yeah, good catch. So I could see people getting short here, or getting short here versus this. And then it stops them out and it goes south.
I know. I thought they might liquidate after the first couple of dump candles. I actually, on the way up, I longed it on the personal account, but I'm just practicing small longs just to kind of see if I can adjust or adapt to the environment. But shorting is still going to always be easier, I find, because you just kind of wait for the place to come to you. Did you trade as bet on this day?
No. I've just learned over the years not to get involved. Yeah, this also is a stop hunt.
So what was your reasoning behind
the daily chart? Bigger market cap. For every loss that I avoid, in my books, it's like making money. Yeah, so this is stop hunt. Come back in. And then this looks like a stop hunt too.
And this is everywhere. It's almost like it's an algo.
Yeah.
Because it seems like they're gathering shorts with these big red bars Because I know I would be short there. I would add, and then I would kind of see it creeping up. I would set my stop above high, then they bring it up, stop me up, bring it back down. Because I did trade this, but I covered before they did all that.
So what's a way to play? I guess you could say this one's obviously a difficult one, but 40.
How would I play this?
Which one is the one that shows you what's the gap percent?
That's a trend line. I don't use TradingView, but
I don't either.
go below, not that one, but that might be kind of just highlight it, and it gives you like highlight like an area, right? So do it, highlight like a square.
I don't think we've been. So, but regardless, I think they're the guys that have a wide stop, open print would relatively be. There's not a lot of stocks. Only 1 to 2 out of the 14. Very few were stopped. The guys that have 30%, 40%. So it's that area.
Yeah, sorry, you just lagged out for like 15 seconds there.
I was thinking
Oh.
the guys that have a 30% stop, that short the open have a 30% or some other variable.
Mhm.
I think they might be doing well.
Do they have re-entry criteria?
30% stop.
Like a 40.
They would get stopped out here, but out of 14 plays,
But this isn't exactly a gapper, is it?
well, all of them are 60% gap. So out of 14 plays, they would get stopped out one. They would have gotten stopped out once. Yeah. Stopped out once, and then the rest is just break even, chop fast. They'll be okay on everything. 33. I guess SPL, I don't know if they would take it. Looks like everything else, they will be fine. Yeah, so they would be relatively great.
30% from opening price, right? 30%. So you mean
Different-
something like that, like an opening.
And they have, they can alter it. They can have an entry criteria. This has to happen. But so let's say, so this one, the stop would have been 56, 30% off, and then they would have worked out, made 22% on that and everything. Everything they would basically be green. Good to know. So there's an inverse. Yeah, there's always an inverse relationship. They were getting screwed. We still had range. That's my takeaway.
Yeah, 30% stock. Man, okay, yeah.
What about you? Have you noticed? So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to try to incorporate. One of my setup was the failed breakout. Those are tough to enter, but they give very good risk reward when they work. The stop hunt, because in here, technically you could enter like 315, 330 versus 15-cent risk. You might have gotten stop 15-cent risk.
Yeah,
and then
because you're holding it for 4 hours and then you see it run up into after hours, you're gonna win a cover. You're gonna think it's gonna be like ASBP or like any of these other crazy ones that have been happening.
you would cover before or after hours.
Oh.
I don't believe it's just with anything. So this here,
Yeah.
I would have entered somewhere here, 45, 47, and then risking 53. So you have a 5-cent risk, and then you would make 15 cents, 3-1 risk reward. This here. Okay. Anything else pops up at you that you think we should, from the market sentiment wise?
I do think things are gonna be bearish because the market overall looks like I think Trump said something that kind of made the SPY crash. So I think we're gonna see more downside in the market, and we're gonna see that reflect in small cap.
What did he say?
Keep,
That was bearish.
what was it? Tariffs? Something to do with tariffs. Which country was it? UK or something? I'm not sure entirely.
Yeah.
But he said something. The market dumped on Friday on something, right? What was the news?
I think
Know
it
what to do.
reclaimed again.
Oh, it did?
Yeah, into the close, yeah. Every Friday they defend it. Friday they defend it.
They reclaimed it. Yeah, that's insane.
I got my ass kicked on PLTR that day. I stopped out because freaking stupid ass Trump was saying they're gonna give PLTR business to watch over citizens.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he's done that before, where he's given, not trying to be biased, but like people that are his friends, like they were gonna give Kodak, a company that, and COVID-19 that it makes like was gonna go bankrupt, $750 million for finding a cure.
the camera company?
Yeah. Trump said they were gonna give him 70%. There's so many companies and hundreds of billions, but he's like, we're gonna give Kodak $750 million because they may find a cure. So PLTR, I think, is not as obvious, but I think there's a favor going on because they went on the campaign with him. Long story short, I got lucky, 3,500% move on PLTR.
Oh.
Yeah, Yeah, I took a really nasty loss because I was swinging PLTR for like 14, 15 days, and I kept adding to the winner at good spots.
Nice.
And then I took a really nasty loss on stop out. But then when the market was bouncing, because there's this Friday that they try to, I play it with some friends. We call it the buy program, in order to reduce fear. Every Friday on dips, they turn it on, and they just buy the market so people go into the weekend with it.
Oh, so the bear sentiment could still kick in on Monday. You're saying?
I think likely it will kick in on Monday, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Because on Friday they have the buy program, and you just run, and you can make a lot of money.
Wow.
With zero DT calls. I remember on COVID-19 there were so many
Oh.
times I caught like 1,000. But on PLTR I was long. I was like, oh, we're gonna play the SPY was hard to get. Long is
Mhm.
tougher. I think I caught a little bit of it, but the PLTR I was seeing, I was like, this is strong. So I was like, don't be biased. Just bought the equity and the call, but I forgot about the call. So I forgot about the call. I came back and it's like, 3,600%.
Unreal, dude.
Yeah. I think I went from like 13 cents per contract to $4.60.
Yeah.
It was still a big loss in the short side, but
I'll keep that in mind for the buy program, because now that I looked at that chart, the way it reclaimed, it didn't seem organic.
But it only happens when there's fear and there's kind of like a gap down or bearish on Friday. They will always try to
Friday,
defend
okay.
it. Yeah. Gap downs or wash on Friday, they'll try to defend it. Okay. Awesome. So that's the market sentiment. Let me
Variables that we do.
biggest opportunity.
If I had to guess, if I had to say something was the biggest opportunity, ALZN had the most range. They didn't give too many problems for the most part.
ELCN.
Gits was really good. Gits at the foreign broker didn't have locates, but I did hit it. I wish I hit it with more size, but I haven't been, like, I just sized down just based on, so I don't get too emotional, because it does takes tear on your brain, right? Losing all the time. So
This one?
I'm not as good of a loser. ALZN, yeah. So this was day 2. Day 1 was before. This one I think Gits was on Friday.
How do you spell it? Gits G-E-T.
GITS?
That's interesting. Or how do you enter that? How would you enter it? Just off the tape, right off the open?
I like the stats on it, and right off the open is when I took a starter, like off that little push, and I always set I'm always ready to take the starter off before, like, if there's a halt or something, and it just didn't do that, so I just added on the way down, and I think my average was like, it wasn't the best average, it was like 280, 290, but then what I really didn't do was add at the 240 area, like when it's like kind of consolidating, but you know what the market's been doing, so I just kind of stayed put, and then as soon as it dumped to 2, sorry, I just covered right on that second 11:30 dump, and I just called it a day after that.
Yeah, I think
On that.
it's tough to add here. I don't think this is long-term good, because I can always recurring. But yeah, good entries on this. Yeah, this is good too. What is this? Ad blocker. I think I shorted this day too. Shorted it. Yeah, this was a
Sorry, your stream is lagging. 1 second, I can't. No, 1 second. Sorry, the stream is being a little tricky for me. There we go. Now it works.
I'm just thinking out loud. Or
QBTS is part of this, right? Because QBTS, I know, was at one point the worst one out of all these. It's like $2 or something.
yeah, this one doesn't have a lot of shorts, so I think as a short seller I like the short, but I'm trying not to be biased in terms of, I don't know if you swing short or not. I wouldn't.
Don't know, but I have been looking at Tesla, and like over the weekend, some news came out about Elon, and like how he's not part of the Trump administration anymore, and Tesla went to 350 from like 220. So I think Tesla's going back to 200. So if I was to swing short anything, it'd be TSLL, and because it's like the cheaper version of Tesla.
Is it connected to Tesla, or is it just because
Yeah.
it's TSL?
It is connected to Tesla. So it's like what's it called? A fund or something, or
Oh, I see. Very
is
interesting.
it like, what's it called? Leverage something?
Leverage ETF.
Okay, 2x shares. Yeah, so Tesla Bull 2x shares. So it's just for people that don't have as much money, I guess. So you see, it was at 16:30, right, at 10:55 a.m. TSLL, and then the news kind of came out, and then it kind of hit 1490, and then around like 2-ish, 2:30, 3-ish, it kind of bounced to 1540, and then closed at 1490. So I think we're gonna see a leg down on Tesla, TSLL in particular. I don't have enough money to trade Tesla, but I think they move the same.
Yeah, I see this is what I would consider a liquidity event, but to be honest,
Oh, really?
yeah, because Well, first off, I've been wrong many. But you can see these two spots are the breakout spots. If anybody's, there's a lot of breakout traders. So anybody that kind of bought, I mean, volume profile would be really good to have.
Oh yeah, especially on a daily chart.
I'll open anchor swing after. But this is interesting. The only problem that I have with it is if Elon's robots do become mass manufacturing, that could be something. And I thought it would be bullish that, I guess it could be both lights. It could be bearish that he's away from the Trump team, so he may not hypothetically get some favors, but it could be bullish because now he's back to being focused on Tesla. But technically,
Yeah, there was a smear campaign. I think they said he was doing drugs during the Trump administration. He was on ketamine and shit. That was the smear campaign article. Yeah, there was more to it. It wasn't just like, oh, he's out.
Okay, for me personally, because I'm super biased and it's probably extremely wrong, I shouldn't be, but I'm still gonna. I think if it gets 1320 to 1350, I will probably short RGTI in risk versus the high of the candle, I think.
Like 1450, 1475 type.
So this is gap to close, and then 1450. But if it gets to here, there's some volume resistance from all these guys that were bagged. This is one of the higher candles. So if it goes below this trend line, I think it's kind of game over. We could see that much downside. Pushes here,
$7.
and it go down. This is a very clear risk level. But in the past, these guys are a-holes, man. They have made it very difficult. You can see stop hunt and go, stop hunt and go, and on all the names. Stop hunt, go, stop hunt, go. So I hope this is one of the stop hunts and then go. But if it gets here, I'll probably risk this. And the way I'm going to risk it is I'm going to buy options against it. So I'm going to short the equities. And then I think I'm going to buy calls of like 1450 or something like that. So that way, if it goes higher, gap up or something like that, pushes in, I don't have to be as concerned. It helps.
So how would you cut? Like, how would you determine? Because at one point you're gonna have to get rid of one of those positions and just kind of ride.
No, depends on your time frame. If this pushes, I'll probably give it 2 weeks to consolidate, and my hedge is just a loss. I have learned over trading this and getting my ass kicked many times is that, let's say it gets to here and I get my short entry. It gets to 350, 360 a week, and it enters. I'm entering here, and my risk is, even though I'm risking 1470s, whatever, I'll probably buy 1450 calls or 15. And then the stock shoots up and it gets to 16. I'll have to make sure that I'm kind of being delta hedged, which is my loss and things. But the idea here is when I enter here, I'm going to buy the calls in 1 week or 2 weeks. So even if it goes to 15, 17, 18, it's not that big of a deal because I don't have to close my position. It means I'm going to have my buying power kind of locked. But who cares? I don't think that's an issue for me. So then it could just go against me, whatever. Or the good scenario is it could just go to 16, something like that, and then wash right off. And then if it stays below 1520, then I'll get rid of my hedge. So that's a future opportunity that I'm looking into. This company here, they could be a nice stop hunt, but not again.
Man, I don't know how it got back to 40s. I remember seeing it in the.
So they're buying companies left, right, and center, and they're issuing them company stock. So this, honestly, I would not be shocked if it does something like this, that it goes back into the 50, 51 and then washes. So this was pretty bearish. This is what Tesla, this move, I hope it doesn't happen, but this is the move that you're looking at, Tesla. Liquidity event, pushes up, clears out the buys, and it closes like a candle. So actually, I'm sorry to say, but if Tesla goes above that candle, I'll probably long it. Yeah.
No, it's not. I'm not picking it personal.
Okay.
It's cool. I think it's so cool, this type of stuff.
Because if it goes above 13.6, like one, I'm gonna write that down in our chat.
365, right?
Yeah.
So we wanted to see it reclaim 365, and just kind of hold it, maybe even have a little bit of a push. And you're getting long on that, risking like 350, or how would you risk?
I would risk the low of this candle, honestly. The 358.
I agree with you. If this thing goes beyond 365, I agree with you. I would be long biased too at that point. It's just I'm not gonna go against what's happening.
So 2 weeks out, you can buy a call. I think that would be the best way. If you could buy 1 month or something calls out.
After we claims 365, so would you do like $400 call strike price, like $400, something like for 2 weeks?
No,
That's great.
no. If you expecting it to go to 400, over the years I learned you want to have in between range. So you want to fully optimize. So you want to, if you think it's going to go to 400, I think you should buy a 380, 385 call. That way when it goes, you would just deep in the money and goes. Because by the time if it reaches 400, it goes up 390 resistance. You're not going to see much premium boost. But it could. So, but if this hypothetically goes to 420, 430, then your call of 400 would have been like a spectacular call.
Because you're in the money app for that price.
So I've over the years I've learned I used to buy those way out of the money because when it works you make like 1,000%, 2,000%, 3,000%. But very often than not, it's better to have wherever your target is. I've learned that from a trader named Kong. Good guy. Okay, so these are future opportunities that we have. Anything else that comes to your mind? Future opportunities.
For small. Maybe SBET had an offering on Friday. I've talked to a bunch of people that are like in the crypto community because I don't understand all this treasury stuff. I'm trying to get enhance like my understanding of it. And from what I've heard, that's why I was kind of long biased on SBET, which is kind of bad. But at the same time, like they're telling me that the valuation of the company is far beyond now what it was before. I'm thinking like either another long opportunity, or if not a long opportunity, do you think it could be a short since it's still at 50? Because now it's like it's down to, what is it, like $50, or it might have bounced.
Why isn't this loaded?
Had an offering in the after hours or a private placement. Let me look it up.
So they have a lot of they have a lot of dilution that they need to get rid of. I would kind of use that as a variable. When it gets registered, let me affect. I have, maybe I'm getting old.
Yeah.
I've gotten my ass kicked enough that I'm just like, yo, stay in my lanes.
When you're talking about SBET?
Yeah.
Like you don't want to have it in, yeah, it was very thin, and like, yeah, I see what you mean.
Well, it's something that if you're going to risk 1 hour trade on it, it's kind of, I guess we can argue that it has range, so we should be active. But I'd much rather put that risk on in a small cap short, because we know those ones are going to easier to fade. But if it's very clear, I think it would be clear because they have a lot of overhead that needs to be registered. If I can somehow time that, then I would play that. If it had options, I would take. I haven't done deep enough dive. So from this, let's take a look at technicals are there. Fundamentally, do you know if it's just crap? Fundamentally, is it a crappy company, or I haven't researched.
That's what I don't. Yeah, sure. They're saying that from what I've heard from people that are reputable, like even Martin Shkreli, right? Like he made a tweet. I think he kind of pumped it a bit too, but he's trying to say that the company is worth a lot more now and that it should be like $500, which is like, sounds crazy.
Regardless, it doesn't. Yeah, I'm not gonna be. It entices me, but if it had options, I would short deep in the money call. I would short like a 35, depending on the current trading price. If it pops to like 70, I would short 45.
Oh,
and buy
I see.
80.
So you're always hedging.
In these names, yeah. So the volume profiles here. So if it has a midday pop into 89, 90, or 100, which is less likely, it doesn't entice me. Maybe if I do a lot of research on it, maybe this is it's gonna be a pump and dump because they have dilution and this, then I can get back behind conviction with short.
Yeah. Better opportunities.
Okay, let's skip back to our so big movers, we got our opportunities, summary takeaways, biggest mover, dollar move, trade, best case, worst trade. We don't have to do that. Setup that worked in the past few weeks, we've kind of done that, and setups that have stopped working, or new setups that have working, and we've summarized. And I think that's good. That's good for now.
If you have the time, I don't mind.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, be very, very. In my opinion, it'd be very short. You're the one. Clarify with yourself. Yeah. Just don't be shorting above VWAP. Yeah, I think this is your biggest problem. Don't be shorting above VWAP, and be active below VWAP. I mean, we just. So you took a loss in SBET and Boro, and then you took a loss in BMGL. Shorting above VWAP, as we mentioned at the start. SBET longing below VWAP. What scares me is, bro, that this stuff kind of makes it seem like we're trying to be correct. And I've went through that myself. You know, I'm a trader as well. where we take trades. We want to be right. We're not in the market to make money. We kind of run the market to prove that we are correct. So once it's below view up, you got to be active. This is a good trade. This is a good trade. This is good. All of this is good. Once it validated this, you could short this versus the highs, maybe. Same issue here, even though. So this day you had a green day, but ALZN, like if you had scalped this or if you were more active in here.
I think I have my full size on though, so I mean I could have covered and then covered like the flush and try to get back in on bounces, just to kind of be more active below VWAP, like you said. And I can take more sides if I cover and then take more, because then the price goes down, so the dollar value goes down, right? Because I'm capped by dollars. I just kind of realized what I was doing here, like where I covered at the end. There was no reason for covering, but I just kind of realized, okay, this thing's not going anywhere. And I guess it was a bad cover, honestly.
I mean, it was a tough name to be involved in. So this is the thing. Below VWAP, just short cover. Like, you're catching a very small part of the move, and then you're just letting it go because it's like, oh, I was right about the name, right? There's so many of these. If you were hyper scalping, not hyper scalping, but if you were scalping, if your attention was not somewhere else, you could kind of scalp these. But you definitely don't want to just, oh, this is done. It's below VWAP. It's not going to have range. I think that's the mindset that goes into it. And then it's like the hot new chick comes in, and that's the one where it's like takes away our focus. That's good. I like that you waited till below VWAP. That's nice. That's smart. I mean, I know it's very boring and sucks too, because you don't have
Yeah, when
range,
it's 12 o'clock, and it's going sideways like that, I just think to myself, what is the likelihood that it's gonna work in my favor at this point, right? Like you said, 11 a.m. above VWAP, right? That's what I always think of. This is just intraday para. I kind of just tried it.
Is this a ticker max loss? Right. So whenever you win, you win. Let me see. ASBP. I mean, in my core, I just get bothered by it because it's just breaking such a strong principle. It's like above VWAP.
Yeah.
Why are we like, this is not an entry? Please correct me if I'm wrong. I think this didn't clear out the high, but you were shorting ahead of it. So you think it was a resistance, or could it be risking this high? Do you
I'm trying to think, was it a long? I don't recall. Was I longing that name? It might have been a long. It might have just been a long because I thought that it was gonna reclaim and then kind of do like a almost kind of just take off type thing. ASBP. No, I didn't long it. So yeah, it was a short. No, it was a short. Yeah, I don't know. That's not a good trade.
So I think this is where you try to short it. You're like, hey, back to resistance.
They gave me like a blow off candle.
I don't blame you,
Mhm.
but I'm sorry to say I don't think it's rare, because this is not a setup. This is just, hey, it's getting to a resistance. This is not a setup. Setup needs to come from a daily chart mostly, and then it needs to be like invalidates like these. This is just tape and resistance. This is just noise. And then maybe if you have back tested this, maybe this would be your entry, right? Maybe entering here versus this, or entering here versus this. And this would be tough. Hopefully you're not adding. So same concept. It's above VWAP. Fundamentally, it bothers me because it's just bad. So this is a long, hopefully. I bet it's a long. This one's a good short. So this loss would have been mitigated.
Yeah, I think I got ticker max loss there. That was an emotional one.
Because of the above VWAP, right? And this is the part that hurts me so much.
This one's rough. Oh my god.
The reason why is because if it's below VWAP, you cover and you leave it alone. But stock's like, it's below VWAP. Feelings have been validated that I was right on the thesis. Let it go.
Above these
1 o'clock. Yeah, you could argue that you could take this versus that. That should be your only goal.
Breakdown there.
I think that should be your only goal, bro. Just do nothing else. Don't short above VWAP after 11. What do you think?
No, I agree with you. Noting it down. I know I write it down on my recap room a lot, but clearly, it's not hitting me. Or I need to limit my attempts even before 11 a.m. I need to limit my attempts before 11 a.m. Limit attempts above.
In my honest opinion, don't try to have a lot of goals. I would remove that, to be honest. When we do too many things, we were not able to. I think it's better just to do that one. And then try to commentate on that every day for 1 week, 2 weeks, and be like, short it above VWAP. When you keep bringing it up, it just holds. Is there anything else you want to talk about or discuss?
No, that should be it for now. Just have to trade better. And
no, you're doing like sure, it's like a red month, whatever, break even red month, but it's been a despite Twitter stuff, I think from our end, my labs are not doing the greatest. And this month there was some tough days, tough weeks. So it's not the end of the world, which, and as we're coming
and
into the
adapt.
summer, for me, I'm honestly gonna adapt. Be more open to getting, but don't beat yourself up. You're doing long run, you will do really well because you're consistently attaining. You're consistently coming to the Sunday recaps. You're kind of putting pulse on the market, and you're having discussions. If it doesn't pay off in the short run, okay. I'm positive. I hope you know that in the long run it will pay off. The fact that you're recapping, that you're coming, you're brainstorming.
It's not supposed to be easy. I already understand that. And honestly, sometimes I think to myself, you know what? If it's harder, then that's the rewards will be greater too. So it is what it is. Just have to.
And I think that's the reason why it will be lucrative down the road too, just because it's so difficult. But the funny part is once you start doing well, it will feel so boring as well, because and some people they increase their rush by like increasing the account, and then they incorporate different types of emotions. That overall for me, I'm gonna be cautious of.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, in the summer. Your video went down, but I hear you. Summer trading will be.
Sorry about that, man. You got cut off. Oh man. Where did you leave off?
What was the last thing you heard?
It was we were talking about how over time.
Over time, you will do well, because you are consistently coming to the Sunday and you're going over your trades, and you're easily just absorbing it. Hopefully, the feedback is correct. I'm pretty sure. I think you agree with the mistakes. I agree with the mistakes. And we see that, hey, this is the repetitive pattern. So in the long run, it will pay off.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me in the group again, man. I really appreciate it. It makes more of a difference than you think. I don't even think I'd be into trading if it wasn't for you guys. So thank you again.
It makes me happy. In a selfish way, it makes me happy to hear that making a difference. Because I was questioning today. But thank you.
Yeah, you definitely are.
Thank you.
No problem, man.
All right, brother.
I appreciate the time. Have a good day.
Have a wonderful day, brother. Bye-bye.